Today we're going to be learning about adding fractions with common denominators and subtracting with common denominators. We are going to be talking about, if we're talking about apples, we can add 3 apples plus 2 apples because they're the same thing. So it's easy to say 3 apples plus 2 apples equals 5 apples. The same thing goes with common denominators. If the denominators are the same, we can add them. If they're not, we can't, because we can't add 3 apples plus 2 dogs and have apples or dogs. So we could not add these. We would have to change either the apples into dogs or the dogs into apples to be able to add those together. I want you to take out a sheet of paper, and we're going to set up our Cornell Notes for today, adding and subtracting fractions with like denominators. And today's date is going to be 11/15. Make sure you get your title up there, please. Step 1. Make sure your paper is folded in half. Step 1. You're going to set up the problem vertically and write the denominator down. And here's going to be our example. If I'm adding 1/4 plus 2/4, this is the way the problem would be. I'm going to set this problem up vertically. So I'll set up 1/4 plus 2/4. And I've got that. It says write the denominator down. So I'm adding fourths and fourths, and I'm going to get fourths. We do not add the denominators stay exactly the same. So that's my step 1. Set the problem up vertically, I did. Write the denominator down, I did. Fourths plus fourths are going to give me fourths. And just so I can show you a picture really quickly, if I have 1/4 plus 2/4, that's the answer I'm looking for. Step 2. Here we go. Add or subtract the numerators. One thing I like to do is I always like to circle my sign so I don't do the wrong operation. So I'm going to look back at this and say add. So I have 1/4 plus 2/4 gives me how many fourths? I'm going to add those numerators. My 1 is my numerator, and my 2 is my numerator, and 1 plus 2 gives me 3/4. And I can easily see that if I took this 1 here and put it here, it would give me 1, 2, 3 out of 4, 3/4. The very last thing that we need to do is step 3. And step 3 tells us that we are going to simplify or change an improper fraction to a mixed number. So to simplify. Well, we talked about simplifying on Wednesday, and we talked about the way that you simplify something is you look at the numerator and denominator and see if you can divide them by the greatest common factor. And so I'm looking, do 3 and 4 have any factors that they can both be divided by? And the answer is no. So luckily for us, this one is in its simplest form. What we're going to do is we're going to practice adding and subtracting by using these same 3 steps on a worksheet that you have. So we're going to get your worksheet passed out. And this is what your worksheet looks like. Adding and subtracting fractions with like denominators. When you look up here, it tells you when 2 fractions have the same denominator, their sum or difference also has the same denominator. We don't have to do any changes. And it shows you to find 7/8 take away 5/8. We're going to subtract the numerator, 7 take away 5. We're going to subtract the numerator, 7 take away 5 is 2. Write the difference over the denominator, 2/8. And then we're going to simplify. In this one, we do need to simplify. We have 2/8 as the answer, and we know that we can divide 2 and 8. We're going to do divide by 2 divide by 2. How many 2's are in 2? 1. How many 2's are in 8? 4. So this is going to be our final answer. Always make sure that you have your answer in its simplest form. So what we're going to do today, we're going to practice adding. We're going to do numbers 1 through 5 together, and then you're going to work on 6 through 10 on your own or with a partner. Okay? Let's start with this first one. The good thing is that these are already set up vertically. Over here, these are not. So I'm going to ask that you take these and use this space on this side to set these up vertically. You'll find out later why that's important when we do not have common denominators and we need to find them. So these directions tell us to add or subtract. Simplify if possible. Your answer always will be in simplest form. So problem number 1, 3/8 plus 3/8. Well, we know that 8s and 8s are going to give us 8s. So we write down the denominator. Then we add 3 plus 3, which gives us 6. When I look at that, I immediately know that that is not in its simplest form. So I'm going to need to do something there. I need to simplify, and to do that, I divide the numerator and denominator by the same number. So I think of the greatest common factor that 6 and 8 have, and I know it's 2. So I'll do divide by 2, divide by 2. How many 2's are in 6? 3. How many 2's are in 8? 4. And when I look at 3/4, I know it's in its simplest form. That will be my answer. When I look at 11/12, I have 11/12, take away, I'm going to be subtracting, take away 5/12. 12ths and 12ths is going to give me 12ths. So I'll write down my 12ths. 11 minus 5 equals what? It equals 6. So I have 6/12 as my answer. The problem with 6/12 that you can see is that I have to simplify it. So I look at 6 and I look at 12 and I think, what is the greatest common factor that they both have? And I know that it's 6. So I'll do divide by 6, divide by 6. How many 6's are in 6 would be 1. How many 6's are in 12, which would be 2. And my answer in simplest form is 1/2. When I come over to problem number 3, I'm going to let you work on this one, but we know we have 9/10 plus 3/10, and we know we're going to be adding. Tenths and tenths will give us tenths. Go ahead and spend a second to do this top part. Put it on pause, Maya.